Do you have piles of 12 by 12 paper that you would like to turn into cards? Hi, I'm Jess from JessCrafts.com, and I'm here to help you make the most of your crafty supplies and time. So let's get making. I love 12 by 12 paper, and it can be so easy and fun to buy, but then trying to use it can be challenging as a card maker because you can make so many cards from just one sheet of 12 by 12 paper. And so today I'm going to be using one of my 12 by 12 paper busting templates for A2 cards. I have just recently released 10 new templates showing you how to turn 12 by 12 cards 12 by 12 paper into A2 cards without making any patterned paper scraps. So we are now up to a total of 50 ways to cut 12 by 12 paper and then accompanying sketches for making those A2 size cards. I do have ideas for 12 by 12 paper and 5 by 7 cards as well, but I'm doing A2 today and the 50 templates are all A2, so you can purchase that pack in the Etsy shop or you can just get the 10 new ones. So if you've had them previously and you just want the new ideas, there'll be a 10 pack of just the newest release. Okay, so for today, I'm going to say all of the measurements really clearly though, so you do not need to purchase anything to participate and follow along in the tutorial. We are going to take our 12 by 12 paper, and you can see that it's going to make 6 cards, and each of these colors corresponds to the piece that you will need for each card, and this is the final sketch for the card. So I am using the PhotoPlay paper Frosty Fun from Santa Please Stop Here. I am going to start by cutting off the branding strip on the bottom to get us to the 12 by 12 size. I am not going to count that branding strip as part of a scrap, although because there is a little bit of the pattern, you can use that on the inside of your cards if you would like. And then we are first going to start by cutting 3 by 12 inch strips. When you are using tools like paper trimmers, please follow all manufacturer's safety instructions. So cutting to those 3 inches, I'm going to measure 12 minus 3 is 9, 9 minus 3 is 6, and then 6 minus 3 is 3. So that is where that's how I know where I'm cutting. Instead of just bringing it to the 3 inch mark every time, I find that to be a little bit easier. Now, we are going to reserve one of these for now, but these 3, we're all going to cut the same. We're going to cut 5.5 inches off of these, or sorry, I apologize. I recommend, because you're going to need a 1/2 inch strip, that you cut that 1/2 inch strip first. So rather than cutting the 5.5 off of the big long pieces, I'm going to cut the 1/2 inch off these longer pieces. So I'm going to take it to 11.5. I'm cutting 3 pieces at once because my paper trimmer can handle it, but it kind of depends on your situation. And since they all need to be the same, it's fine to cut them all off at one time. And then I'm going to take it to 11 inches. So I have another 1/2 inch. After cutting off the 2 1/2 inch pieces, I am left with a 3 by 11 inch piece, which I will then be cutting in half so that I have 2 pieces that are 3 inches by 5.5 inches. And so now I have enough for 6 cards. You can separate them into like folders, piles. I use my scrapbook.com stack and sort trays a lot just so that I have like all the pieces I need for one card together. But however it works for you to keep things organized. And then this final 3 by 12 inch piece that I set aside, we are going to cut into 3 by 2 inch rectangles, and we'll need one of those for each card as well. And so I will just measure 2 inches back. 12 minus 2 is 10, minus 2 is 8, 6, 4, and then finally 2. And I have all the pieces I need. Then it calls for mats. When you're looking at my templates, the measurements for the mats are always on the card sketch. So this just shows you how to cut the pattern paper, not how to cut the mats. The mat measurements are over here. And so because our piece is 3 by 5.5 inches, 5.5 inches is the full length of the card. So we are only going to cut the mat 1/4 inch bigger on one side. So it is 3 1/4 by 5.5. And generally I use 1/4 inch bigger mats. So my 3 by 2 inch piece will get a 3 1/4 by 2 1/4 inch mat. And my 3 by 1/2 inch piece will get a 3 1/4 by 3/4 inch mat. and we're going to need to cut 6 of each of those mats. So I typically will start with scraps. I keep my cardstock in job ticket holders, and this kind of helps me to keep my scraps with the full-size pieces. My method does not mean there will be no pattern or no cardstock scraps. So I will have cardstock scraps, but I find those much easier to use than pattern paper scraps. And so I'm going to start with my 5.5-inch mats. Now you can also consider that you sometimes don't need mats. So especially when you're working with, making more cards, like each of these templates make 6 cards. I tend to make 8 cards, about the max I want to get out of a 12 by 12 template. I know some people are happy to make many cards with one sheet of paper. Others, they're like, I have a lot of paper, making fewer cards also works out. I do donate a lot of my cards and I provide resources for that. So if you're, okay, I do want to use up a lot of my paper, but I don't want to do all the cards, you can find those links. And there are winter and Christmas jokes to go with today's cards, but also many other topics over at jesscrafts.com. So you can put those inside your cards. And those are like free printables. So anyway, here, if I were to use for instance, a craft card base, I could probably consider whether I need mats at all. Now, my only dilemma is when I come to this 1/2-inch piece, I think that it might not always work out to be good for the snowman paper, but I kind of want to use the snowman paper as my background because it's my largest piece. So I can really show off the snowman. So in this instance, it's kind of tricky. I think you could go without the mats if you want, but cutting the mats, will always work out as well. And those measurements are almost always provided. Every once in a while, I think a design just doesn't work, or I want to show a design without mats. So I will cut all those mats according to the measurements that I described. So I am ready to start assembling the card. I am taking advantage of the fact that I am working with double-sided patterned paper today so that I can alternate the different patterns. My paper is not directional today, but this template does work with directional patterned paper. Something that I've started adding to my templates going forward is noting how many cards they make, whether they work with directional patterned paper, and I am also making sure that my templates going forward always have this color coding. So all the blue pieces are for one card, purple pieces, etc. Some of the previous templates, they were all the same color, but I'm just trying to, as I kind of learn what works and doesn't work with my templates, being more and more clear and helpful to you when you have them printed out and you're working without the tutorial. And then when I am ready to embellish my cards, I am going to go to the sticker sheet. I purchased the sticker sheet when I purchased the pattern papers, but I found that I'm using the pattern papers faster than I'm using the sticker sheet, so I was making a point to come back to it today. There's some different stickers with writing. Not all of them are perfect for sentiments, but I do think that a lot of them I could still use, and I've said this before, but if I don't take advantage of it immediately, I'm left with the sticker sheet, and that can sometimes be problematic. But there is that temptation to be okay, well, I don't want to use them all up too fast, but the flip side could be that not using them enough. So that's what I'm doing today to finish off my card. I have this large Noel sticker I think could work out well. I'm just going to show you the embellishing of one card. The finishing of one card, but I would keep proceeding with the same process. So I could overlap it across the whole thing, just putting it across the snowman strip, but then you can't see them. I think it kind of works to be a little bit above the snowman. That's probably my preferred way of putting it, especially because it is about as wide as the whole card here, but maybe if I had chosen a different pattern paper, I would make a different choice. Now, some of this is going to hang off the top here, and it's going to be sticky there. So you can make a choice about how you would like to cover that, or so if you push it down on the paper, it could still pop up, but you might not want that stickiness to continue to exist there. I know different people have different methods for making that non-stick. But that is a reason that stickers aren't always my preference, because when you do want to do things like pop them up or use them across the card, and then you have all that sticky area to deal with in the back. But I think that I'll be able to make some cute cards combining these stickers and each of these cards from the template. I was able to continue assembling and embellishing until I created all 6 cards with 1 sheet of 12 by 12 pattern paper following paper busting template number 41, which is available in the Etsy shop. If you found this video helpful, here's another video where you can find more ideas for enjoying your crafty time and supplies. Let me know you like this video with a share to your crafty community, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next template or tutorial, and check the video description for product links. See you in the next video.